everyone, it is me, GamePenguin21. Today, well, we're going to be looking at Mr. JaytechTV. Now, this specific video is a video that he posted about 6 days ago, but I wanted to talk about this beforehand and get a couple of interesting announcements out there right now. Numero uno, I got a new computer. So, yeah, there's going to be a little bit of a growing pains for this because the new computer means new programs and having to reinstall things. I'm also going to be going back to more of my roots using things like DaVinci Resolve and different softwares and stuff. I was using OpenShot for a while. That's why some of the qualities and why I was using very little in terms of graphics and text and things I had normally put into some of the other videos. Just because the whole system couldn't really handle it. The whole reason was I just didn't have access to what I normally used, which was a completely separate program. Now, obviously, that there are a lot of things to talk about here. First and foremost, I do, again, if you want to support me in whatever it is that I do, I have Patreon and other things linked down in the description below. If we can, I would like to get to be able to be monetized, and then I can have like memberships and stuff. And then you guys can support me directly through that. But again, links to all socials, all like ways that others support me as well, including Gumroad and things like that, where you can buy some of my stuff. All linked down in the description below. Thank you all so much for everything that you do. And again, your viewership is enough for me. I don't really care too much about the money. But to cover the story that led to this point, Jaytech himself did actually illegally stream the Microsoft acquisition thing with the FTC. Now, again, I didn't know that this story broke, and we're not going to be covering that today, but I wanted to give my opinion on it anyway, because this video that we're covering right now is extremely, extremely short, like 2 minutes, so we're going to get that into a little bit. But if you want to skip past this particular part, I will probably leave a link, or on screen right now will be when I get into the actual video, but let's just talk about this really, really quickly. So, number one, and first and foremost, everyone else has covered this already. I'm very late to the party, I know very much so, but just the nature of my upload schedule. He basically decided to 100% go out and illegally stream the Microsoft FTC conference thing, where eventually, during the live stream at some point, Fertanga tweeted about him illegally streaming it, but the thing is that Jaytech already was streaming it in such a way that it was public to people, and Fertanga only found out about it because he was told about it through someone else, and that other person then said that, oh, this was also illegal. So he eventually mutes himself and then contacts King Thrash saying that Fertanga snitched on him, meaning that in at least some contexts that what he knew he was doing was intentionally illegal, or at least could be extruded as intentionally illegal. I don't know if anything will come about from this, because people illegally stream and do all the other stuff anyway. But now he just decided to make those streams paid only, and then delete the streams immediately afterwards. At least cover his ass. That's still kind of somewhat illegal, unfortunately, because even though if you're deleting the evidence, that evidence is still probably going to be there, at least in terms of like when the video and stuff was actually published. But now you are directly benefiting from this in some ways. This kind of reminds me in a lot of questions about that one person that I covered who was a surgeon. No, he wasn't a surgeon. He was a nurse. Was he a nurse? No, hold on. No, he was an anesthesiologist. That's the one. The anesthesiologist who basically tweeted out and practically doxed someone because of console warring situation. That was just fucking stupid. But now someone does even more illegal activity for the console war, and congratulations, Jaytech, you get covered on this channel, as well as most of the other channels that are going to be roasting the fuck out of you. But, I think that that's going to really do it for this one. If you really want to, I'll leave a link to a couple people in the description if you want to go and find out their information on it and actually see some of the clips and stuff. But I didn't want to bring that here because this video that I wanted to cover is PS5 is destroying the Xbox in 2023. And this is an actual video on his channel, and oh boy, is this going to be fun. With that being said, let's get into the video.
Before we get started, I wanted to give a big shout out to Somatic 2008 for helping me edit this Share Factory Studios video. He definitely helped me out with these new stickers and animated stickers that will allow my video to look more fresh and more modern. So again, big shout out to Somatic. I've already told you guys that I definitely want to release more videos. There will be more live streams than videos on this channel, obviously, going forward, but every now and then there will be short messages that I want to give to you guys. They will either be in this format or they will be in a format of a short. So again, thank you for watching.
Can I first just say, what the fuck is that mic quality? I know I'm not the gold standard when it comes to mic quality, but at least I try. See, again, just go through the little bit of the pulling back of the curtain. The way that I mainly do it is that I actually recently upgraded to a more recording style microphone, that being the Hollyland like mobile microphone. It records in mono, unfortunately, so I have to do it and be very careful with it. But I usually just use Audacity and this microphone, as well as a couple other microphones, then go through a simple process of normalizing the audio, then taking out the background noise, then recompressing the audio back down to a more compressible state, therefore making most of the work of it good, then exporting that out as an MP3 to again compress it down even further to make sure it's not as loud or not as like ear splitting, and then just go into the audio editing and stuff like that. One of the big reasons why I do this and why I think that it's personally important is because the audio quality can make or break specific videos. If you have a video that like is very well edited, it's very well cool, but the audio fucking sucks, yeah, no, that's 50% of the experience just absolutely checking me out of that whole thing. You need to have good audio quality, and in all honesty, it's just fucking stupid. It's just a little bit stupid. But yeah, this is terrible audio quality. And I know I harp on about audio quality for some people a lot. I know that this audio probably doesn't sound the best either because microphone reasons. But in all context, this is stupid. But we move on.
Going forward, I just wanted to address the PC port begging people. I've been in contact with you guys for numerous amounts of years, and you guys got what you wanted. You got PlayStation to put games on your platform. You know, I know there's, some of them you had to wait for a year, some were like 5 years. I think there was one that might have been 6 or 7, but you guys got your wish. Now we're looking at a situation where people want the game's day and date.
And that's actually really cool. That's actually really a funny point that he brings up. At least the fact that he acknowledges that that's a thing that happened is hilarious. But again, the sheer fact that it did happen means that he's probably going to have to talk about it in some context. And you can probably tell where this is going. And I'm just kind of stalling right now, so let's continue.
And the sales from the games that went to your platform later don't really justify bringing a game day and date. There were games like Stray, Kenna Bridge of the Spirits, and most recently you had Forspoken that just did not sell good on PC, even though they were released day and date, counter to the PlayStation 5. So
I mean, considering the fact that the other 3 games that did come to PC, the ones that I can remember off the top of my head, like Death Stranding, God of War, and Horizon Zero Dawn, all 3 of those games actually sold really well. Again, in context, that makes more sense that they sold like 1 million, and I think one of them sold like 2 million copies. I don't remember the specifics off the top of my head. But all those 3 games, at least, again, in Death Stranding's case specifically, it practically doubled its sales that it had on when it was a PlayStation exclusive, i.e. that it doubled in the sales in the sense that the sales were equal on PC versus the sales on PlayStation from what I remember. But again, I don't remember the specifics. But you use 3 other games. One smaller indie game that's more of like a movie type situation. Forspoken, which was done just as a piss poor attempt all across the board. And one game that I have never even fucking heard of or did not see any like marketing material about. So again, that's kind of a disingenuous fucking thing there. And what's also stupid is that all 3 of those games aren't necessarily PlayStation games. I don't think that PlayStation attached their names to any of them. They might have been published by PlayStation, unsure, but If they aren't, that's not a PlayStation exclusive technically. And again, that's not really a PlayStation exclusive like at all in any context. If they were PlayStation endorsed, that's a different thing entirely. I would also like to say that No Man's Sky, for example, had a PlayStation launch and stuff back in 2016, and that was also pretty bad. But that wasn't a PlayStation exclusive. It was originally designed for other things. So, like, what the hell's the problem here? It's like, so these 3 games, right, that were not PlayStation made, that PlayStation didn't really have part in much of the development and probably just threw money their way for, say, the contract for exclusivity rights or something like that, had nothing to do with it. I don't know. Like, again, try say a Naughty Dog game, or say a fucking actual developer that's under Sony type system. Like, again, Naughty Dog. Bring a game like that day and date, or something like that. Again, you're saying like, oh, these 3 games here, which are not heavy hitters, one of which was a new, I think, no, all 3 of them were new IPs, and all of them failed because they were not good games. Well, I wouldn't say that straight failed. I would just say at least Forspoken failed because of that reason. Like, that's not even comparable to the AAA games.
With that respect, I hope that everybody on PC understands that it's best for you to continue to wait because you've already failed numerous tests. These are also, again, tests from day and date, and also games that went to your platform much later.
I wouldn't say that those were tests. I would say that they were more experiments. Again, tests and experiments are kind of the same thing, and some people would say, oh, well, you failed these tests. Failed how? Like, how did they fail? Like, were they not profitable enough? I mean, in some cases they weren't. But then again, you're not comparing these fairly. You're comparing these to the big budget AAA games like God of War and frickin' Horizon Zero Dawn and whatnot. Those games don't appeal to frickin' everyone everywhere, and they might appeal to you because you like them, but that doesn't mean that everyone everywhere likes that same type of game. But I think the biggest misconception and the biggest problem that I have with this is that the 3 games, again, that he listed were not big-budget AAA games. At least I don't think so. Other than maybe Forspoken, which probably had the same big-budget thing. Stray and the other game that he listed were not on the same caliber as, say, God of War Ragnarok, in my personal opinion. They might have looked about the same, but they were not the same caliber at all. I would also like to say that, again, Sony is not going and catering to the market appropriately. Let's say, for example, take, I don't know, Spider-Man. Spider-Man and Spider-Man Miles Morales. Like, imagine those games, day and date on PC, with the sales numbers that they pulled when they were released later. Like, I'm being completely serious. Again, freaking Spider-Man, when it came over to the PC, became one of the top sellers on PC for a while, at least for like a week or two, at least on Steam, had numbers of people just flocking to it, and I think sold around 2 to 3 million copies in the hype cycle that it had. And you're saying that, oh, they shouldn't bring it day and date. You could have 2 to 3 times as many sales in that same context, and they continuously generate you money because more people will buy them because they're on PC, and PC doesn't require you to purchase more stuff. They just can purchase the games once they upgrade to a newer machine, and they say, ooh, cool, I can now play God of War, and then they buy God of War, and you make all the fucking money. How is it lost on you that you can make that it's... I don't get it. This is the one thing that I don't really also get about PlayStation people and saying, oh, they shouldn't bring it day and date because it won't bring in enough money for that context. It's like, okay. Or they're just incompetent. It's like, oh, well, they can't go to fucking everything with all those different specs and stuff because working with one platform is better. It's like, maybe if you're an indie studio, surely. However, counter argument. The newest, craziest game, again, that you're probably seeing because I've been playing fucking a lot of it, BattleBit Remastered.
If you're an Xbox fan and you're looking around this week and you're wondering why everybody's enjoying Final Fantasy 16 on their PlayStation 5 and they don't give a damn about Starfield, it's because We're living in the present, not in the future, okay? Nobody wants to wait until the end of this year or 2014 in order for Xbox to get some sort of a W. That's all I have to say for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure you hit the like button and subscribe.
Okay, well, that last point was just so disingenuous in a lot of sense. And the main reason why it's disingenuous is because we already have Final Fantasy in hand, so we can review it, and that's why people are starting to talk about it. It's not because, oh, well, no one cares about Xbox and we're living in present and stuff like that. If there is actually a complaint from Xbox fanboys saying, oh, why isn't everyone talking about this game that I love? Because it's coming out and we really should do this. You just... This theoretical person, this theoretical straw man fucking sucks, bro. Anyway, I don't think I'm going to keep you much longer. This was just a simple, quick little video and a way to get my thoughts about Jaytech illegally streaming and illegally doing an activity about, you know, streaming the whole Microsoft FTC acquisition, which unsure if that's going to go through, but the FTC does seem to be having a lackluster case. That's kind of fucking stupid. In any context, my name is GamePenguin21. Jaytech, don't get arrested, man, please. And a peace off.